There's a ton of fascinating angles when you look at this game, but the absolute physicality that this game, I mean, this is a put the women and children to bed. Now, this one's going to be a fight. It's basically going to be like watching one of the Gladiator movies because of the physicality level of both these teams. We have another incredible matchup in the first round of the college football playoff. And let's be honest, they're all delicious, but this one, Texas A&M hosting Miami, even compared to Alabama and Oklahoma, I'm going to be honest, it's the one I'm the most excited about. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, he's excited about it. You can tell, just look at his face right now. Just looking at it, you're excited.
Super excited.
That's awesome. I get excited when you get excited. Then
oh, that's
I'm so excited.
Then starting in Smile
like
3.
I kind of felt like it.
Yeah,
when I was doing that. Yeah.
Look, you've
have y'all watched that new show?
Times. I haven't watched the new show. The movies
I heard
awesome.
it's really good.
I've actually heard good things about it. But this one could end up being a horror show if it goes a certain way in
that
College Station. Blaine Crain, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver. Before we get into this discussion, I want to know in the comments, give us your score prediction as usual. Check out all of our other videos. Make sure you're subscribed. Are we at 196 yet? We got to be close.
Oh, God, we're so close.
Are we close?
Let me see.
Are we like Hugh Freeze, Auburn?
Oh, Coach, we're there.
We're there. We're there.
We're there,
196.
Coach.
How about that? Blaine, what is the side and what is the total for this A&M Miami?
All right.
Is it still 4?
Yeah, well, it opened up -4. Texas A&M. Remember, this game is going to be where? At Kyle Field. Right now, it's sitting at -3.5. You got to remember home field advantage, kind of a field goal, some neutral site. Maybe this game would be a pick-em. We'll see how it goes for the Notre Dame Parents Bowl. That's what I'm calling it.
What's the total?
The total is 51.5. Opened at 52.5, so it's dropped down a point. Miami money line going off at +150.
Well, there's a ton of fascinating angles when you look at this game, but one, before I get to the absolute physicality that this game, I mean, this is a put the women and children to bed. Now, this one's going to be a fight. It's basically going to be like watching one of the Gladiator movies because of the physicality level of both these teams. But I just think it's got to be awesome, Cone. If you're Texas A&M offensive coordinator / future Kansas State head coach Colin Klein, this scenario, it's perfect. Think about it. You're calling the plays for a college football playoff team, yet you've already taken the head coaching job at your alma mater at Kansas State. House money, baby.
Yeah.
I am letting it fly if I am calling plays in this one. I'm not just talking about throwing the ball down the field. I'm emptying the whole bag for these college football playoffs. Because again, what's the worst thing? What are they going to do? Fire you if it doesn't go good? You're already going to K-State. I'm so fired up for Colin Klein.
So that's interesting. I didn't know that's where we were going to start with this. But do you think that will play a factor into the play calling with an OC? I mean, hey, that's one of the reasons Nick Saban told Lane Kiffin, you got to get Pack, and elevated Steve Sarkisian.
Well, I think you can look at it as a positive or a negative. I would look at it as a positive because I think it takes the governor off. But it would be more, I think it would have more of an impact if you were a head coach of a team and leaving to go to another. Like if you were Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss and they let him stay and coach, but you were going to LSU, because 4th and 3, I got to make a decision on whether I'm going for it. What does the card say? Oh, it always says go. I'm going for it.
It has to feel a little bit better if you're Nick Saban. We have Steve Sarkisian laying in the wing.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a, that also helps. But I'm excited for Colin Klein. But Cone, when you look at this, the pass rush for both of these teams in this game, I mean, you've got Cassius Howell and that Texas A&M defensive line on one side. Then you have Ruben Bain and Mesidor and Miami on the other side. If you're an offensive tackle in this game, and I'm going to get to Miami's because I think Miami's has a chance to slow down Cassius a little bit, this is a nightmare.
Yeah, this is a combination of some of the best pass rushers in the country, obviously, and I'm particularly interested to see how they can affect the other quarterback throwing the football through the air. So in situations where they don't necessarily get a sack, but they still get pressure, how much does that dictate where the ball is thrown and the accuracy? Because on the Carson Beck side of things for Miami, in the 2 games that they lost this year to Louisville and SMU, he combined for 6 interceptions. That's over half of the interceptions he threw all season. The lone game Texas A&M loss on the field to Texas, Marcel Reed threw 2 interceptions. So again, even in situations where those pressures don't equal sacks, can they still get a turnover or a takeaway for the defense?
Well, and we know turnovers are obviously one of the pillars of what's going to determine a game, turnovers, penalties, field position, things like that. But I wonder, when you look at a guy like Carson Beck and then Marcel Reed, and we're saying, all right, both these teams have really good pass rushes. Now, Miami's tackles are about as good as you're going to from
A&M,
a pass pro
A&M's got
A&M's crown over. I'm a little worried about the right tackle spot for A&M a little bit in this game. But one quarterback is very mobile. The other one can move when he has to, but he is a spot shooter in Carson Beck. Blaine, obviously having a guy that can do more things allows you to get away with some stuff. But if you're Miami and you're Shannon Dawson, I noticed, and y'all in the comments, you guys tell me if you agree, after they lost that game to SMU and you kind of felt like maybe they were out of it, it seems like he's gone back to calling plays a little bit more like he did for Cam Ward. They feel more open and loose from a play calling standpoint, as opposed to just trying to sit here and pound you, work off play action or hit Malachi in the flats or then take a vertical shot to Daniels. I feel like Shannon Dawson, if Miami's going to win this game, Miami's not as great running the ball, I think, as some people think. I think there's a common misconception that they're hitting all these explosives in the run game, and they're really not. Fletcher's really not that type of back. I'm actually worried a little bit about Miami being able to run the ball. So if I'm Shannon Dawson, you got to let this thing fly too.
No, I think so. I don't think Miami's going to struggle running the football in this game. I think they're talented up front, and they have two legitimate backs. The thing about both these teams that excite me, not only from the quarterback position, from the skill position, right? Neither of these teams have to show up and throw 40 to 50-yard bombs to go score. I mean, Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M can catch a 5-yard route and go break it 80. You can't touch him in the phone booth. Malachi Toney is the exact same way. So I'm interested to see how Klein and how Dawson is going to scheme these guys, not only in the deep route, but the intermediate stuff against man. How do you sit in zone? Because these guys are two of the most dangerous guys in football, and you have to get your best players the ball early in matchups like this. So I wonder how both these coordinators are going to scheme themselves into getting these guys the ball in space, right, and let them go work. And which team, from a defensive side of the ball, can make tackles in space and not avoid that yak yard.
That's what it's going to come down to. I mean, I would say Marcel Reed's deep ball's gotten progressively better, I think, the longer he's been at A&M. But really, if you go back and look, a bunch of Texas A&M and Miami to a certain extent, but even more for Texas A&M, a lot of their explosive plays in the pass game have been, from what Blaine said, dumping the ball off to Casey Concepcion or Mario Craver. Mario Craver is one of the best wide receivers, and the man could be working for Santa Claus at the North Pole. He ain't a big guy. He could be making candy canes and juggle boxes or whatever. But this dude can break tackles. He's nasty in space. And Concepcion, they're both NFL wide receivers to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, getting the football to skill players is not going to be a problem in this game because I think Texas A&M probably has the best wide receiver trio in the country. When you talk about Concepcion and
Bethel
Craver,
Roman
also
too,
Ashton Bethel Roman has come on.
Guy,
So, I mean, there have been several games this year where he's been the go-to wide receiver. But then on the Miami side, I mean, when you look at Malachi Toney, who you guys were talking about, but also C.J. Daniels. Remember, like he's the one who had the great one-handed catch to beat Notre Dame to open the year, which is why they're in the college football playoff. So I'm not worried about the skill players and getting the football on the perimeter. Can Miami run the football? That's my question. And if they can't, how much more difficult is it for Carson Beck to get the football to those wide receivers and skill players on the perimeter? Because you talked about Carson Beck not really adding a threat in the run game the way that Marcel Reed can. That would be fine if they had an otherwise good run game. But that's been an area that Miami has really struggled this year.
This episode is sponsored by our friends over at Ethos. Look, we all know you got a certain expiration tag in this life. You're not going to live forever unless something cool gets invented, and then we'll all be excited. But until then, you need to make sure you have everything covered. All right, and that's where Ethos comes in. It's an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy. So to protect your family's future in minutes, not months, they've made getting life insurance easier than ever before. They have a streamlined 100% online process that eliminates complicated paperwork and lengthy procedures. It's incredibly easy, and it's peace of mind. It can allow you to protect your family with up to $3 million in coverage, with some policies starting as low as $2 per day when billed monthly, making comprehensive life insurance both accessible and affordable. We have families. I know you have a family out there. Make sure you take care of them. It's no wonder that over 3 million people have used Ethos. Head over to ethos.com/booster. Application times may vary. Rates may vary. That's ethos.com/booster. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. And again, I want to make sure we're not saying, at least I'm not, and I think you aren't either, that Miami is a bad running team. They're not going to hit explosive plays against a legitimate defense in the run game. It's just a lot. You're either going to have to catch the defense in a run stunt or a blitz that gets picked up, with a run stunt is a form of a blitz in my opinion. But, to the point of how do you attack a defense that has really good pass rushers, On the A&M side, a lot of thinking, and before I go back to Blaine, I mean, Cone, you went up against a lot of great defensive linemen. You saw a lot of great defensive linemen at Michigan. The guys that are pass rushers, you typically can run the ball at them and have success. But God, it doesn't feel that way with Bain and Mesidor and Cassius Howell and A&M. Like you're almost damned if you do and damned if you don't. That's where that running element with the quarterback comes in. That's when sprint out. I wonder if Miami's struggling with the pass rush early, do we get some arm side sprint out for Carson Beck to run stick, to run your pick plays and things like that? Then on the A&M side, how much do you run Marcel Reed in the design quarterback run game? Not just zone read, not just power read or any sort of reads or improv. That's what I'm interested to see. But this isn't a run it right at the pass rusher situation, I don't think.
I don't think so, but teams aren't using nearly enough sprint out, in my opinion, across all of college
It's actually
football.
A good point. I haven't seen it.
To be honest, like every single game I watch, or 4th and short, 3rd and short, I'm like, man, we're not using enough sprint out. But that's a topic for a different day. I think what's more important than to necessarily like pinpoint who you're running at and which the pass rushers are is for Carson Beck to make sure he accurately sets the pass protection and audibles into the correct pass protection based off the looks that he's getting. Because this is the type of game like we just talked about. I mean, you miss one pass protection and set it the wrong way, and you get pressure from the boundary or from the field, and it's opposite of the slide, I mean, that can make the difference in a college football playoff game where you already don't have the home field advantage.
No, without a doubt. And, we can talk about explosive plays and this, that, or the other, Blaine. I'm just, in my mind, thinking from the defensive side, whether you're Mike Elko, whether you're Corey Heatherman on, the Miami side that's going to come out here and run your 4-2-5, when you're facing a quarterback like Marcel Reed that can run, you obviously have to dial in your pass rush a little bit. You've got to stay in your lanes. You can't go past the guy, this, that, or the other. But I think one thing that has led Miami to become better on defense outside of being where you're supposed to be is the attitude and the aggressiveness that they bring on defense. They feel like they can set the tone of a game defensively. And if you look at Marcel Reed, you get in that window, he will put the ball in harm's way, especially in the seam. We've seen it a lot. Go back and watch the first half of that South Carolina game as well. He's getting antsy, and he's a gunslinger.
Would you rather keep, if you're the defensive coordinator for Miami, would you rather keep Marcel Reed in the pocket and make it beat you there, or would you rather get him off his feet and get him out the pocket and make you beat him there?
I'd rather keep him in the pocket.
You think so?
I'd rather keep him in the pocket. To me, it's like facing a guy in basketball that can shoot the three pretty well, and he's a really good slasher. You're going to have to shoot 40% from three with a hand in your face.
And he can.
And he can, but the likelihood if I let him go to his and he takes me to the hoop, not only could he get the basket, he could get a foul too.
It's just which A&M team are we going to get? To be honest with you, and they've been kind of schizo lately. I mean, is it going to be the one? Is it going to be the first half versus South Carolina, or is it going to be the second half versus South Carolina?
Yeah.
Is it going to be the team versus Texas, who got utterly dominated, in my opinion? Gave up 230 rushing yards, still won at the time of possession, but physically just weren't there in that football game. The first thing these coordinators need to do on the defensive side of the ball, you can say what you want with all the flash and everything. Both these offensive guys want to run the football. That's what they want to do. That's how Miami sets up their stuff. That's how Texas A&M sets up their stuff. And if it comes to both teams stopping a run, which quarterback do you trust more? Carson Beck to throw you to a win, or Marcel Reed to throw you to a win?
Man, see, like we say this about Marcel, but I've seen Carson be the guy from Split too.
Oh yeah.
Like there's times when Carson Beck is on. You're like, I get it. This is why a couple years ago you're like, this dude could be the number one pick. Ball's getting out of his hand. He's got good arm strength. But Cone, I can't in my mind get out of just remembering watching Carson Beck falling back and throwing any sort of pressure, not manipulating the arm angle, but falling out of throws. Like you do that in this game, they're going to cook you.
Yeah, I mean, go back and watch the 4-interception performance against Louisville. Now, some of those were great catches, but still putting the ball in harm's way. On the Texas A&M point, the first half against South Carolina to me was a complete anomaly. Like they couldn't catch the ball, they couldn't tackle.
Everything
so. Bad angles. Marcel Reed was inaccurate. Obviously, they made up for that in the second half. The loss at Texas, I think, was a better example of, man, you just went and got beat. That's why I think, obviously the home field advantage here in College Station is going to be huge for them. But on the Miami defensive side, you ask, where should Marcel Reed be? As far away from Ruben Bain as possible. I just keep wondering in my mind these last couple of days since this matchup got set, how much can he single-handedly dictate the outcome of this football game? I mean, he's one of the best defensive players in America. And, that Notre Dame offense, we talked about it, the last 10 games, not those first two, but the last 10 games, I do think it's hilarious that these two teams playing in the college football playoff are the two teams that did beat Notre Dame. I think that is pretty fitting. But that Notre Dame offense at one point was just really humming, could do anything they wanted on the field, and Miami's defense held them to 24 points. Now, that was a young C.J. Carr's first start on the road. I don't know what was going on with Jeremiah Love. They only gave him 10 carries.
That was that's one of the craziest.
I didn't understand it, but I keep wondering how much of that was being dictated by Miami on defense. I know that they can get the job done.
Guys, one of the coolest things we have in our house is one of those Aura frames.
Yes.
What is an Aura frame? Blaine asks while looking on his computer.
What is an Aura frame?
Interesting question, Blaine. I'll tell you. It's actually a picture frame that you upload your photos to, and it switches the pictures out after a time interval. My grandmother, who's 87, loves it. My 11-month-old daughter loves it. That's how much the age fans. And again, it's something we use, so we love that they sponsor the show. I mean, Cone, you got one too.
We got my parents one a couple years ago for Christmas. Now we got one. The kids are obsessed. I'm obsessed with it.
It is cool. So stop stressing about what to get everybody this holiday season. It's very easy. Our sponsor, Aura Frames. It's the one gift that always hits. So if you're like us and you want to get the perfect gift for that perfect someone for a limited time, visit auraframes.com. Use promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, to get $35 off their best-selling Carver matte frames. Named #1 by Wirecutter. You go to auraframes.com. Use promo code BOOSTER. Get that money off. This deal is exclusive to our listeners and watchers, and the frames, they sell out fast, so head on over there. Well, with Bane, I think early you test out to see if you can contain him. Now, there's an 80% chance that ain't going to work one-on-one. That's why living in 3rd and 7 is a death sentence.
I'd run the read option right out.
Well, you put him in conflict. That's one. That's where I think Indiana was able to find some holes in Ohio State's defense. Sometimes that's just the best way to attack. But at some point, you're going to have to probably chip them on third and passing. Whether that's a tight end that you're keeping in there to chip and then get out in a route, a running back that you're keeping in there to help chip. But also, that's affecting you offensively. That's slowing down a guy in a route in the progression. That's taking it back, maybe out of the ability to being able to leak and this, that, or the other. But I'm just, to your point, Cone, testing it out early to see how you're doing. I think the same thing with Cassius Howell and Miami as well. You got to know where that cat's at 100% of the time.
Well, I just look, as good as Mesidor and Ruben Bain are, they're going to get to Marcel Reed, but can you get Marcel Reed on the ground? Right, I know if Cassius Howell gets to Carson Beck, there's a high percentage chance that he's going to get him on the ground. It's so tough. Marcel Reed is so slippery in the pocket. He's basically a receiver playing quarterback, right? And with that quickness, with that quick twitch, it's just tough to do. But the big thing is how does the Miami secondary respond when he does break the pocket?
That's the
right.
When it turns
and
into
you being a
scramble
secondary guy, communication is so key in this football game. Marcel Reed can live in chaos plays and broken plays. They can get huge yardage and they can change football games. How do you react because look, Keontae Scott from a health
he's not playing.
He's not playing. If he's not going, that was their leader in the secondary. So when he's not there, it's going to be huge for those guys. If they break the pocket, do not get your eyes on the quarterback. You stay with your man because that play is not over.
Especially when you got the guys running around that A&M does have running around in the rule during a scramble drill. And what is the scramble drill? Scramble drill is when the play breaks down, it's out of the progression. Quarterback's running around trying to find somebody. It goes from whatever coverage you're in, turns into man coverage. It is, I am locked to this guy. The problem becomes when you're somebody that's on somebody, and here comes Marcel Reed running, and you're able to see Marcel Reed running, and you don't know if he's broken the line of scrimmage yet, so you got to make a decision. Either I'm going to come up and try and tackle Marcel Reed, which you probably aren't, and then leave a guy behind me open, or I'm just going to keep my guy covered and let Marcel Reed take off. You got to let Marcel Reed take off, because two things are going to happen. One, if a guy gets behind you, you're cooked anyway with Concepcion or Craver. Marcel Reed, could he go score? Yes, but there is a chance also that you get to hit him, and he gets to take that hit. And Marcel Reed is not a big guy. He's not thick. He's not like Lenoris Sellers. He's more like Jaden Daniels when you look at how he's built, which, is scary in itself in a certain way.
I got two more things here. One, again, in those two games that Miami lost, they also lost the penalty battle, which is not uncommon when you lose a football game. But, with this game being on the road, Kyle Field is going to be absolutely rocking for a college football playoff environment.
It's going to be insane.
Miami needs to figure out a way to either win or to at least tie in the penalty department. I don't think they can go in there and commit more penalties than Texas A&M and somehow think they're going to win. And the second thing for me is punt return. You got to be very careful when you're punting the football to KC Concepcion. That dude is absolutely unguardable. How many times have we seen him take a punt to the house or for a big game that automatically gets Texas A&M in plus territory? Be very careful punting the football to that man.
Yeah, and look, I've got to go back and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head who Miami has back there returning punts. Part of me thinks it's Malachi
Is
Tony.
it? Yeah.
I would guess there's probably a decent chance
I can find out
that it's Malachi Tony, and if that's the case, if either one of those two guys touches the ball in space, you can blink twice and they'll be in the end zone waving at everybody. So the special teams part of it, which obviously leads to field position, which is big. But, you know, I think another interesting question is this the biggest game in Texas A&M history? Is this the biggest one?
I mean, this is Texas A&M's first time in the college football playoff.
I know they won it. Didn't they win a natty like in the 40s or something like that? Like, I don't count. If it's past like 1980, I'm not counting it. I just
wonder what people are going to do in like 2080.
Well, don't count.
Look back, it's like 2025, guys. They're not going to count that.
Look, and also, part of me feels really bad for the animals in the woods outside of where Midnight Yell takes place. Like, what's going to happen the night before this?
They're probably yelling, too.
They're probably going to be like, oh, no, this is like what happened right before the dinosaurs got wiped out.
They're probably going to be yelling, too.
You think they're going to, the animals?
Texas
like
A&M has that type of wizardry behind it, right? I mean, that darkness and that it feels like a Slytherin type of thing to me this weekend for Texas A&M. It doesn't mean to be positive, happy vibes. It needs to be dark, angry.
There needs to be a dark energy in there.
Yeah, and big shout out for both these teams for making the playoffs this year. For your fans, hey, there you go. Yeah. Some Miami fans, congratulations. It feels good to walk in 10-2 actually making the playoffs.
It was a tough road to the finish here.
It was.
Man, I can't wait for this football game. Malachi Tony does have 13 punt returns this season for 187 yards. No touchdowns, but he has a long of 47.
Yeah, get his ass back there. It's the Bourbon Bowl. You can't hold anything back. Yeah, so you got a brother or something we can put back there with him? I mean,
y'all remember he's a freshman.
Yeah, but at this point, at this point, you're not a freshman anymore. Like, you know you're the dude. So we want to know in the comments, what do you guys think? Give us a score prediction. This game is going to be fantastic. We cannot wait. We're going to have our predictions early next week, so make sure you check that out as well. Make sure you're subscribed. We appreciate you and like the chances. Let's not being fired up and also worried for the animals by Midnight Yell. We're going, gone.
All of this is an illusion, an echo of a voice that has died. And soon that echo will cease.
They say that Merlin is mad. They say he was a king in David, the son of a princess of lost Atlantis. They say the future and the past are known to him, that the fire and the wind tell him their secrets, that the magic of the hill folk and druids come forth at his easy command. They say he slew hundreds, do you hear? That the world burned and trembled at his wrath.
The Merlin died long before you and I were born.
Merlin Emrys has returned to the land of the living.
Vortigern is gone. Rome is gone. The Saxon is here.
Saxon Hengist has assembled the greatest war host ever seen in the Island of the Mighty. And before the summer is through, he means to take the throne. And he will have it. If we are too busy squabbling amongst ourselves to take up arms against him, here is your hope. A king will arise to hold all Britain in his hand. A high king who will be the wonder of the world.
You to a future of peace.
There'll be no peace in these lands till we are all dust.
Men of the Island of the Mighty, you stand together. You stand as Britons. You stand as one.
Great darkness is falling upon this land. These brothers are our only hope to stand against it.
Not our only hope.
They say Merlin slew 70 men with his own hands. At Cathay, he slew 500.
No man is capable of such a thing.
The mortal man.